with the left hook. Bam!
Boom!
Tell you what, he could have knocked out a racehorse with that left hook.
Ducking down low to detonate with full force on the chin, sweeping around the guard to lay an opponent flat on his back. When a pristine left hook lands, the effects can be devastating.
Down goes Pulev on another left hook. That may be the one from which he does not get up.
Left-handed fighters like Oscar De La Hoya and Marco Antonio Barrera used their lead hand to find the range off a jab and to unleash a powerful fight-ending left hook.
Left hook, a sensational left hook by De La Hoya. Again, he set it up with body punches.
Southpaws like Manny Pacquiao or Michael Moorer snaked their lefts into position with devastating speed and accuracy.
Oh my gosh, what an amazing knockout shot. That is the most spectacular one-punch shot of Manny Pacquiao's incredible career.
For years, boxing's elite talents have utilized the left hook to dismantle their foes. The late, great Sugar Ray Robinson, a master of the squared circle, perfected the shot like so many of the sports legends that passed before him. Robinson's 1957 disposal of Gene Fullmer was described as the greatest left hook ever thrown.
Gene Fullmer. And Sugar Ray drops Gene Fullmer.
As we approach the heavyweight clash between two of the best left hookers in the business in Dillan Whyte and Alexander Povetkin, we rewind the clock and revisit 25 of the biggest left hooks in boxing. Mexico's Erik Morales had been one of the sport's premier operators before Father Time caught up with him during a final stint at super lightweight.
Good luck to both of you. Touch it up.
Morales had surprisingly pushed Danny Garcia hard in their first fight. Garcia learned his lessons and sent the veteran spinning into retirement in the second meeting.
Danny Garcia's doing, oh my, just a brilliant shot. Knocks Morales through the ropes.
And the trainer got in the ring. And it's over, y'all.
That's it, just like that. And this is a case of the king is dead, long live the king.
American contender Kenny Weiss was trying all night to catch former world title challenger Jim McDonnell with his big left hand. The pair swung together midway through the fourth round. Weiss landed first. McDonnell landed face first into the ropes. Dropped early, deducted low blows, and suffering increasing damage to the eyes were all par for the course in an Arturo Gatti fight. The Ultimate Boxing Warrior posted his entry for Knockout of the Year by leveling out Wilson Rodriguez in the sixth.
Down goes Rodriguez. What a left hook. He won't make it up from that. No way. Arturo Gatti. How about that?
Having previously snapped the undefeated slate of hard-hitting Ukrainian Yevgen Hitrov, Emmanuel ALEEM arrived in Miami expecting to take another step on the road to a world title.
Touch your gloves. Let's get after it.
Hugo Centeno Jr. had other ideas, freezing the chosen one with a left hook worthy of ending any contest.
As he sticks that jab right there on the belly. Oh my goodness! Down goes ALEEM! ALEEM has been knocked senseless! That is a Kennedy for Knockout of the Year!
Beautiful, beautiful left hook. Got that leverage off that distance, and man, keeping that distance, that's what happens.
Long-reigning light heavyweight king Bob Foster was never able to match that success at heavyweight, despite his size. Foster rode out the first Joe Frazier left hook, but was stretched out on his back as a second landed clean.
Joe Frazier. A dynamite left hook, and Bob Foster goes down again. It's all over. Joe Frazier wins by a sudden, dramatic knockout in round 2.
This crossroads clash between two big bangers was never going to last the distance. Stevens crossed the line with pre-fight insults, while Lemieux did all of his talking inside the ropes. The fight-ending left hook silenced Stevens and sent him from the ring in a stretcher.
Oh, Stevens
Out cold.
and out cold. Knockout victory. Lemieux got what he was looking for on a perfect right-hand shot.
No, left hook,
Oh,
left hook,
yeah.
Jim.
Left hook.
Left hook
Yep.
right to the chin.
Guys, that's the knockout of the year so
Yes,
far, I
sir.
believe.
By far.
That was a bomb.
Fulfilling his lifelong dream of winning a world title could not have been sweeter for cruiserweight Tony Bellew, who grabbed the WBC in front of his home fans. Dropped by dangerous Makabu, the bomber rallied back to stop the African with a stunning left hook.
What's Makabu got? He's in trouble. He stopped. Bellew's done it. Hamilton got his apart, goes berserk. He's destroyed Makabu, who's still on the floor and in some distress.
21 wins and 19 knockouts into his professional career, Mike Tyson was served up Reggie Gross. A tough product of the streets, Gross had seen his career fall dramatically off the rails. Optimistically scheduled for 10 rounds, Tyson got it done and won. Still the master of the left hook finish, Nonito Donaire showed in the World Boxing Super Series semifinal that the last thing to go is a fighter's punching power.
Touch gloves, good luck to both of you.
Overmatched Young tried to work the angles, but was unable to avoid the Donaire finisher.
To be able to evade. And there's a big left hook. Down goes Young on a thunderous left hook.
And that is the vaulted power that we're talking about. Nonito Donaire at this weight class, 118 pounds. Everybody better watch out.
Darnell Wilson, the self-styled Ding-a-ling man, was every bit as fun as his nickname suggested. Never one to trouble the elites, Wilson had shrugged off a string of defeats to put together 3 knockouts on the bounce. Make that 4, as Nigerian Wodo was brutally felled in the 11th.
Wodo, feet crossed. Oh, a left hook like you cannot believe. Oh my, this fight is over. No need for words.
Fresh from his epic IBF title win over Kostya Tszyu, Ricky Hatton was presented with Carlos MAUSA in a unification clash. MAUSA had upset Vivian Harris to win the WBA crown, but his reign was short-lived as Hatton's swiping left hand left him slumped in the corner.
This is what we're looking for. This is a real Ricky Hatton. We're seeing a beautiful right hand again.
Oh, he's got him with a left hook. Huge left hook. He's knocked out all over in the 9th round. New era, new venue, new promoter. Same result. Ricky Hatton devastating, and now a dual world champion.
A brief move up to light heavyweight began dangerously for Danish star Mikael Kessler, as he was unexpectedly dropped in front of his own fans by American Alan Green.
The superstar.
Massive right hand. Kessler's in trouble. And already he's tumbled over.
Kessler turned things around so dramatically in round 4 that the referee dispensed completely with the count.
Massive left hook. I don't think he's going to get up. Ian John Lewis counts him out already. And Kessler, with a one-punch finish in the 4th, is back on top. Wild celebrations from Kessler.
In 2004, big-punching Wayne Alexander produced a textbook come-from-behind knockout. Always a reputed puncher, the London man was being outboxed and hurt by Takaloo in a vacant title affair. Cue a left hook that bailed out Alexander and sent the crowd into raptures.
He's leaving himself up, and then look at that! A left hook, and that might be canned! That might be good night! It's over! The fight is over, no need to count. They're getting out the gum shield, and Wayne Alexander explodes back to the forefront of the domestic scene, and Takaloo doesn't know where he is.
In a late 1990s HBO show, filled by promoters Cedric Kushner's standard mix of exciting, vulnerable heavyweights, undefeated Derek Jefferson and oft-beaten Maurice Harris went to war.
Clutch him up. Clutch him up. Thank you.
Jefferson was dropped once, Harris 4 times. The final left hook sent Harris's mouthpiece flying in the air and his senses flying into orbit.
Jefferson comes out. Can he stay on his feet?
Oh, that's it.
What a left hook shot! Oh, no! No
necessary. Derek Jefferson, I love you. Oh my gosh.
Getting past the intimidation factor was hard enough for Mike Tyson's string of victims throughout the 1980s. Tall, stiff, and upright, Robert Colay was tailor-made for Tyson, who bobbed and weaved inside before detonating the finisher in less than 40 seconds.
Left hook, good night. What a great shot. There's a mandatory 8. They keep wheeling him out. He keeps knocking him over. Well, that has got to be one of the quickest.
Another sterling effort from Big David Price was unraveled in an instant as Alexander Povetkin reached the target and made every shot count. Seemingly frozen in time by a right hand, Price was merely a sitting duck for Povetkin's follow-up left hand.
Times for the big boys, and Povetkin with a right hand and a left hook lays out David Price. The towel's in. He won't make it, and it is Alexander Povetkin that finds the ammunition to end the argument, and he will be the one that goes forward to face either Joshua or Parker.
A wild fight terminated in decisive fashion as Vincent Petway closed the battle of two furious left hookers with a shot worthy of concluding any contest. The image of Brown lying prone on the canvas, being counted out by the referee while still trying to throw left jabs, was both bizarre and distressing in equal measure.
Foul fest now.
Known as one of boxing's preeminent knockout artists, Julian Jackson was equally adept at finishing opponents with either fist. Philadelphia's Buster Drayton felt the full force of his left hand in their 1988 encounter. Both men left nothing to chance, but, as was so often the case, Jackson finished on top.
And Drayton is still firing back. Oh, a big left hand. Oh, a tremendous left hand. Hooked him. Drayton dropped like a tree. Drayton dropped like a tree, and he is not going to make it up. That's all over. He's trying desperately. Buster Drayton gamely trying to get up with a huge left hand for Julian Jackson, a third-round knockout.
Boxing hard for 12 rounds back in 2016, Dillan Whyte and Derek CHISORA resumed their rivalry on a pre-Christmas pay-per-view headliner.
Let's go to work.
Whyte won the fight narrowly. There was no doubting his second victory, as CHISORA was stretched out cold in round 11. Former Olympic silver medalist Rocky Juarez endured some ups and downs in his career, but he was still an unbeaten prospect when former world title challenger Antonio Diaz came to town. Juarez unloaded the 2003 Knockout of the Year and sent Diaz literally crashing into retirement.
Fight is over. What a huge left hook. He was sitting there waiting for it. Diaz finally got caught with a big one.
Aussie-based southpaw Vic Darchinian was enjoying his third year as one of the premier rulers of the world's flyweight division. Nonito Donaire was a relative unknown who had already suffered a loss, but was intent on grabbing his big opportunity.
Protect yourself at all times, and above all, respect my commands at all times. Let's touch him up, let's get popping.
The Filipino Flash landed a left hook that shook up the division and kick-started a glittering career.
Working well. Oh, boy, look out! Darchinian down for the first time! Struggling to get to his feet! In terrible shape, it's all over! It's all over! Nonito Donaire has pulled off the monstrous upset in emphatic fashion. A vicious left hand. What a a knockout for Nonito Donaire. That may go down as one of the knockouts of the year.
A stocky slugger working his way up towards a world title shot, Samuel Peter was matched with the talented yet erratic Jeremy Williams.
Obey my commands at all times. Good luck to both of you.
The Nigerian Nightmare landed a left hook that caught his opponent on the spin and sent Williams into dreamland.
From Nigeria, and a left hook, bang on the button. That's good night. Fight over there and then. I don't know why they're bothering to count. He is absolutely out cold, Jeremy Williams. Frightening power there from Samuel Peter. And the doctors are straight in to 10-2 Jeremy Williams.
Rugged Englishman Dave Boy Green could be a handful for anyone, and the WBC welterweight title challenger brought the fight to the imperious Sugar Ray Leonard. Green was introduced to the canvas like a falling tree after Leonard touched with the right and uncorked a classic left hook finisher.
Would have gone down, flush on the chin of the challenger. Combinations, oh, and so long, Timber. What a series of punches. He is down the count, and it is over. Davey Boy Green is out.
During his lengthy title reign, not many challengers brought the fight to Vladimir Klitschko. Despite some initial success in roughing up the champion, Kubrat Pulev was left ruining his adventure as Klitschko turned the Bulgarian's lights out with a trademark finisher.
Yes, Pulev. Down goes Pulev on another left hook. And that may be the one from which he does not get up. He's done. And it's a 5th round KO win for Vladimir Klitschko.
What you just saw was a fighter, as we were talking about Pulev's fighting spirit, that he hadn't gotten the fight beaten out of him. He never did have the fight beaten out of him. Vladimir Klitschko simply separated him from his senses. This, Jim, is why boxing is more compelling than any other sport.
Boxing at the peak of his powers, Nonito Donaire stepped up to the highest level at bantamweight to rip Fernando Montiel's titles away in dramatic fashion.
Dios los bendiga, toquen guantes. God bless, touch up.
A quality operator in his own right, Mexican Montiel was bludgeoned by a rampant Donaire in 2 rounds.
Good right. Oh, there you go. Out of there. It's over with. It's over with. That is done. That is done.
Counter left hand finishes him here in round